All right, Cowboys Nation, buckle up because we've got a massive storyline breaking out of Dallas that's already shaking up not just the NFC East, but the entire NFL landscape. CJ Mosley, the veteran linebacker and longtime leader on the defensive side of the ball, is officially a Dallas Cowboy. That's right. After years of anchoring defenses and earning Pro Bowl nods with both the Ravens and the Jets, Mosley is now headed to Big D in what many are calling one of the most intriguing mid-season or late off-season moves the Cowboys have made in recent memory. This isn't just a depth signing. This isn't just a roster filler. This is a calculated high-stakes move aimed directly at one thing: patching up the soft spots in a Cowboys defense that has struggled with inconsistency, injuries, and leadership at key moments. And let me tell you, the reaction from around the league, it's been immediate, loud, and mixed. Some experts are calling it a home run. Others are raising eyebrows, and fans are doing what fans do, either celebrating it like it's the second coming of Ray Lewis or worrying that this is a desperation move by a front office trying to stay competitive. But before we dive into all the hot takes, let's start by talking about why this move was made in the first place. Because if you've been watching Dallas over the last season, especially during the second half, you know, that run defense was a glaring weakness. Now, the Cowboys were getting gashed up the middle, whether it was through miscommunication, poor gap discipline, or flat out lack of physicality. It was clear this team needed a veteran presence in the heart of that linebacker unit. With young players still developing and depth being tested due to injuries like DeMarvion Overshown's ACL recovery, Dallas simply couldn't risk another season of soft interior play. That's where CJ Mosley comes in. He brings not just experience, but a level of football IQ and toughness that can't be taught in a meeting room. This is a guy who's been a defensive captain, who's seen the speed of playoff football, who's been on losing teams, winning teams, rebuilding squads, and Super Bowl contenders. He knows how to manage the locker room. He knows how to align a defense. And for a Dallas team that has all the flash and speed on the outside, think Micah Parsons and Trevon Diggs, they've often lacked that glue guy in the middle to hold everything together. Now, what makes this move even more fascinating is the timing. We're not in the middle of free agency frenzy. We're not even in preseason camp. This came after the Cowboys had a chance to assess their current roster through mini camps and off-season workouts. They saw what they had, and clearly the verdict was that the linebacker room needed help. The signing of Mosley is, in many ways, a verdict on what the coaching staff thinks about the current trajectory of the unit. And for those wondering if this is just a depth play, let's be real. You don't bring in a 5-time Pro Bowler, hand him a multi-million-dollar deal, and then plan to have him sit behind younger, less experienced players. Mosley is here to play. He's here to start. He's here to lead. Now let's talk about the fit. And this is where the conversations really heat up. And the Cowboys defense under Dan Quinn, and now with Mike Zimmer back in the fold, is a scheme that requires linebackers to be both smart and fast. You've got to be able to fill the A-gap one play, then turn around and cover a tight end down the seam the next. That hybrid versatility has become the modern standard. And while Mosley isn't as quick as he was in his prime Baltimore days, he still brings excellent instincts, lateral range, and the kind of play diagnosis that younger players struggled to develop. He might not run a 4.5 anymore, but he takes perfect angles and rarely bites on misdirection. That alone saves your defense from those big chunk plays that have haunted Dallas in recent seasons. And don't underestimate the leadership aspect of this signing. Micah Parsons, as elite as he is, plays more like a hybrid pass rusher than a traditional linebacker. What Mosley does is allow Parsons to stay outside more, to focus on what he does best, by destroying quarterbacks. Because when you've got a trusted veteran holding down the middle, it frees up the scheme for more creativity on the edge. And if you know Zimmer's history, he loves deploying complex fronts and overload blitz packages. Mosley is the kind of anchor who allows those designs to work because he makes the right calls and keeps everyone aligned. But let's not ignore the elephant in the room. Health. Mosley has had some tough seasons injury-wise, especially during his time with the Jets. Groin injuries, hamstring tweaks, and just the general wear and tear of nearly a decade in the NFL have left many wondering whether he can hold up across 17 games. That's a fair concern. At this point in his career, it's unlikely he plays every snap or goes full throttle from week 1 to week 18. But that's where smart usage comes in. Dallas doesn't need him to be a 1,000 snap player. They need him to be a tone setter, a communicator, and someone who delivers 60 to 70 quality snaps a game when needed. And here's another aspect that Cowboys fans should be excited about. Mosley brings playoff mentality. He understands what it takes to win when the stakes are high. That matters. Dallas has struggled in recent years to make deep postseason runs despite having talent all over the roster. A big reason? Lack of discipline, lack of composure, lack of veteran grit in high-pressure moments. Adding a guy like Mosley, who's seen just about everything this league has to offer, is a culture win as much as it is a football move. And speaking of culture, this is also about accountability. Younger linebackers now know the bar just got raised. Players like Damone Clark, Jabril Cox, or rookies coming up now realize they can't just coast into playing time. Mosley's presence raises the standard and creates real competition. It lights a fire, and sometimes that's what takes a defense from good to great. But here's the interesting twist. Some insiders are questioning whether this move signals concern inside the front office. Was this part of the plan, or was it a reactive signing based on underwhelming performance in camp and workouts? Either way, the Cowboys are now sending a message, and we're not waiting around to fix holes. We're not wasting a year of Micah Parsons' prime. We're going for it. The NFC is wide open. The 49ers are strong, yes, but there's no juggernaut out there that can't be beaten with the right roster and right execution. If Mosley can stay healthy and perform at even 80% of his Pro Bowl form, he changes the identity of this defense. He gives them that downhill hammer they've been missing. And even if he doesn't put up big numbers, even if he doesn't record 120 tackles, his impact might be felt in subtle ways. Better alignment, fewer missed assignments, smarter pre-snap reads, cleaner communication. That's what veterans bring. It doesn't always show up in the box score, but it shows up in the win column. So what's next? Well, all eyes are now on training camp and preseason. Will Mosley immediately slot in as a starter? Will the team ease him into the system? Will they tweak the scheme to accommodate his style? Or will they ask him to adapt to Zimmer's way of doing things? These are the big questions. And of course, fans are going to have opinions. Tons of them. Some are already calling this a brilliant chess move that completes the defense. Others are skeptical, saying the Cowboys should have gone younger or more athletic. But one thing's for sure, this move has everyone talking, and in the NFL, that's always a sign that something real just happened. We'll be tracking Mosley's every snap, every call, every hit, because the margin between a playoff run and an early exit often comes down to moves like this. Quietly huge, quietly defining, and who knows, if things click just right, this might be the move we look back on in January and say, that's where it turned. That's when the defense became real. That's when the Cowboys stopped just having talent and started becoming a real threat. Stay tuned, because this season just got a whole lot more interesting. And if you're a fan of hard-hitting football, smart front office decisions, and redemption stories, well then, you're going to want to watch every single snap CJ Mosley takes in that star on his helmet. Let's go.